Make the fight, get the fuck off me. Get off me. Make the fight.
I don't know, I think, Darren's got some anger issues. I think he just wants to fight everybody. I don't think he even wants the money, he just wants to fight people. Let him at him.
There it is, Darren Till in the flesh, calling out Carl Froch to his face, and the man absolutely lost it. Sell out Wembley, he says. Bold words from someone who has never shared a professional boxing ring with a four-time world champion. Till wanted the smoke, and Froch walked out. Make of that what you will.
Obviously I did. Does he want to fucking fight or not? Because I want to fight Carl Froch. Let's fucking go. Let's sell out Wembley, let's do it. But the little shithouse ran away. He left the arena before we could even get him in the ring. Little crazy fucking turd. Where is he at? He's a parcel, that guy. Mate, that guy's a parcel.
So now Darren Till is calling Carl Froch phenomenal, but still says he is chatting. Pick a lane, mate. 1 minute you are screaming at the man, and the next you are singing his praises. That right there tells you everything. Even Till knows deep down who Carl Froch actually is.
Right up in his grill and said, what are you saying now? What lad? Like he's chatting all, like look, let's just be real for a sec. He was one of the best British boxers. He was one of the best. Punched like a mule. He was phenomenal. But he's chatting, he beats MMA fighters. I don't know what he's going on about. If he wants to get in here and have a go, we'll have it. Come on.
Carl Froch does not need to say a single word extra, and he knows it. The resume speaks for itself. Mikkel Kessler, Andre Ward, Arthur Abraham, George Groves twice. That is a Hall of Fame career right there. Darren Till calling him a coward is honestly laughable. The Cobra has forgotten more about fighting than Till will ever learn.
Bro, shouting, where's Froch the shit house and all this. I mean, come on, it's not really what you call the Cobra, is it? Four-time world champ, Hall of Famer, who goes in with absolutely anybody. You don't really call me a shit house, do you? Because as you know, the resume speaks for itself. I don't need to justify myself. You know where I've been, you know what I've done. But can this fight with Darren Till happen? Can it make any sense? Do I want it to happen? Realistically, probably not. Listen, I retired 11 years ago.
Did Darren Till just admit it would be a tough night for him? In his own words, mate. He said it himself. And then in the same breath, he is threatening front kicks and going after Carl Froch's mates as well. This is not a fight call-out anymore. This is a man trying to save face after Carl Froch completely ignored him and walked out the building.
You can talk all your shit about me getting knocked out and all that, but let's not forget what I got knocked out in at the highest level in MMA. You're just at the end of the day, you're a muppet. So don't be coming at me saying this and that. Yeah, if we fought in boxing, mate, fuck me, it'd be a fucking tough night for me, because you're a hell of a fighter. But I'll come over and front kick you straight on that stupid nose of yours. And if any of your boxing buddies want to say anything harder, I'll be on my own and I'll do the fucking exact same to them. So how about that, you little now you have to worry about me turning up to a boxing event and absolutely obliterating you little muppet.
Johnny Nelson has seen Carl Froch up close his entire career, and even he is saying the Cobra would smash Darren Till. That is not a small statement coming from a world champion. The only question is whether Carl actually wants to bother. And honestly, who could blame him for saying no to this circus?
But if Carl did do it, I think Carl would smash him. But I just don't think he will do it. Because he's got that memory, he's got that something about him, that he's at an age where he's still physically fit enough and strong enough if he commits himself to the preparation.
Fair point and credit where it is due. Darren Till is physically intimidating, nobody is denying that. But this is a boxing match, not a street fight, not a cage, a boxing ring. And in a boxing ring, Carl Froch has done things that Darren Till could only dream of. 11 years out or not, the Cobra is built different.
It's crazy. And he's scary. He's a scary, intimidating man. I don't know if it's the Liverpudlian accent or knowing that he could take this to the ground and finish you that way. I feel like these MMA guys are scary because they know that they are the toughest guys on the street, right? It's not just, back in the day, the baddest man on the planet was the boxer. It's not that anymore, is it? I don't know who they're going to find to fight him.
Carl Froch?
I don't know if Carl will fight him.
Do you not think?
Carl's not fought for 11 years. I know he still looks great and he hits the bag, but no one's hit him with small gloves for 11 years.
Easy money. That is all Carl Froch sees when he looks at Darren Till. Not a challenge. Not a threat. Easy. Money. And the Cobra is not wrong either. Till has decent bits, but decent bits do not win you world titles. They do not get you through Kessler, or Ward, or Abraham. Carl Froch has been through wars that would have ended Till's career on the first night.
Easy money. The old Bunsen burner. I'm thinking to myself, hang on a minute. They're giving money away here with these fights because Darren Till's absolutely fucking useless. I'm not being funny. Listen, I'm talking about professional boxing level. At the level he's at, he's done all right. He's got decent balance, throws a decent backhand from the southpaw stance. But let's be honest.
Even Liam Smith is saying no-brainer. And Liam Smith is not someone who throws words around carelessly. He knows the business. The whole boxing world wants this fight, and Carl Froch has the power to make it happen on his own terms whenever he is ready.
In the ring, Carl Froch is an unbelievable fighter. Darren Till knows that. Carl Froch is an older version of himself now. Been out the ring a long time. Whether he wants to fight again is a different story. But look, I would love to see it now. Yeah, on the street, it's a no-brainer, to be honest with you.
When Lennox Lewis, arguably the greatest British heavyweight of all time, is sat there laughing and calling it easy work for the Cobra, that should tell you everything you need to know about where this fight sits. Lennox is breaking down exactly how Carl Froch dismantles Darren Till. Feints, jabs, body shots, foot movement. Darren Till does not have answers to any of that. And now the greatest heavyweight Britain ever produced wants to be Froch's corner man. That is the level of respect Carl Froch commands from his peers, from legends of the sport. Darren Till turned up shouting and screaming and ended up being the punchline of a conversation between two absolute giants of British boxing. Easy work for the Cobra. Lennox said it. Carl believes it. And honestly, after watching all of this, it is very hard to disagree.
So bigger, heavier, potentially, probably not stronger than me. I'm a machine.
Yeah.
I'm like genetically gifted and all that.
And it only takes one punch. And they're not good defensive fighters anyway. They go for the okey doke. You know what that means?
Yeah.
Give him one of those.
Give him a little feint.
Yeah.
Couple of feints, good foot movement, walk him into a shot.
Yeah.
Probably dominate him with a jab.
They don't know about body shots either.
So what are you thinking? Easy work for the Cobra?
Easy work for the Cobra. Can I be your coach, please?
Jump in the corner, man. Easy money for the Lewis machine.
Yeah. I want to be his coach.
Let's have a team,
all right,
man.
Just go out there and knock him out.
Right, so now Darren Till is threatening the entire Fury family as well. This man has gone from confronting Carl Froch at an event to threatening John Fury and every member of his family in the street. At some point, somebody needs to pull Darren Till to one side and ask him what exactly his game plan actually is here, because it does not look like there is one. There is a difference between being fearless and just being reckless. And right now, Till is crossing that line very loudly. Carl Froch is a 4-time world champion. The Fury family are who they are. And Darren Till is standing here, saying come on to all of them. Brave? Maybe. Smart? Absolutely not.
That to everyone. I'm here to do what I'm here to do. And I couldn't give a fuck if I bumped into John Fury and the family in the street now, because it's on them what they want to do. They're more asked about me than I'm asked about them. So if they want it, I'll have it with every fucking single one of them in the street, and I'll get my head completely smashed in.
Eddie Hearn, one of the most powerful men in world boxing. Promoter of Anthony Joshua, Canelo, every major name you can think of. And when he was asked who is the toughest fighter he has ever met, the man he wants standing next to him when things get rough, he did not hesitate. Carl Froch, not a heavyweight, not a cruiserweight. Carl Froch, the Cobra from Nottingham. And Darren Till walked into an event and started screaming at this man, calling him names. You genuinely could not write it. Eddie Hearn himself is telling you who Carl Froch really is, and it has nothing to do with highlight reels or social media clips. It is about being the kind of man that makes even the biggest names in boxing feel safer just by standing nearby.
Carl's a genuine, world champion level fighter, and he's actually bigger than you'd think, right, when you meet him. He's a lot younger than John, and his peak was outrageously good, right? And he's kept himself in shape. And even now, I remember having a chat with Eddie Hearn, about what fighter you've met is the toughest fighter. And he said to me, if I'm ever in a bit of bother, the man I want standing next to me at a pub or whatever is called fucking...
There it is again. Darren Till calling Carl Froch one of the best British fighters ever produced. An animal. Right behind the very best. His own words. And in the very same breath, he is saying it does not matter and he will fight him any day of the week. That is not confidence. That is someone who is deeply desperate to make this fight happen because he knows exactly how big the name Carl Froch is. Till is not stupid. He understands what a win over Froch would do for his profile. But calling the man an animal and then pretending you are not bothered is about as convincing as Darren Till pretending he is a natural-born boxer. The beef is real. We can see that. But real beef and being ready for Carl Froch are two very different things entirely.
Carl Froch, and we know very well what Carl Froch is. I'm a realist, Googan. Carl Froch is one of the best British fighters we've ever produced. He's a fucking animal. He's an animal. He was just behind Calzaghe and shit like that. He's an animal, and he is an hard cunt. But that don't mean anything. I will fight that motherfucking big-nosed cunt any day of the week. Just don't get it twisted with me. We've got real beef. He wanted me on a show this week. I legged him. Like, it could happen. If he wants to fight,
And there is the real conversation that nobody wants to have openly. Carl Froch's ego. Not his ability. Not his fitness. His ego. Because Carl Froch is a Hall of Famer with nothing left to prove and everything to lose. If he goes in there and something goes wrong even once, even for a moment, that legacy takes a hit. Johnny Nelson knows Carl better than most, and he is pointing at the one thing that could keep this fight from ever happening. But here's what I will say. Carl Froch has never in his career run away from anything. He got off the canvas twice and won both times. If his ego is the thing stopping him, then maybe somebody just needs to push the right buttons. And judging by what Darren Till did at that event, he is certainly trying his hardest to do exactly that.
With one of the main men of the zone saying, look, there is an appetite there. So now the conversation is, will Carl do it? Carl's saying, give me 6 weeks, I'll smash him. Carl won't do it. Carl doesn't need to do it. Carl's got mad money, as he says. And the thing is that I think will keep him out is ego. God forbid he went in with Till and
a couple of rounds of shadow boxing. That is literally what Carl Froch thinks he needs to prepare for Darren Till. Not a full training camp. Not sparring sessions. Not months of preparation. A couple of rounds in front of the mirror, and he believes he is ready to go. And you know what? When you look at the gap in boxing pedigree between these two men, it is genuinely difficult to argue with that assessment. Carl Froch turned down the fight because he thought he needed a month of preparation, and now he is saying he should have taken it immediately because 2 rounds of shadow boxing would have been more than enough. That level of dismissal from a 4-time world champion says everything about where Darren Till stands in the boxing conversation. Till turned up to that event screaming and shouting. Froch responded by saying he barely even needs to train. The confidence is on a completely different level, and it is entirely backed up by what Carl Froch has achieved in this sport over his entire career.
And bash up somebody who can't fight in the boxing ring like Darren Till. He might be decent in the MMA world, I don't know. I mean, I've seen him been choked out and KO'd a few times, so I don't know how good he is, so I'm not having a go. But in the boxing ring, I thought I'd need at least a month in the gym. So I turned it down, and I should have probably took it, to be honest, because I think I'd have only needed a couple of rounds of shadow boxing to deal with Darren Till. He's not a fighter, he's not a boxer. It's not happening, I'm not fighting. This ain't a call out. Don't any idiots coming back saying, calling out Darren Till, I'm not. But listen, it's an easy job for them.
Knocked down twice in an entire professional boxing career spanning the absolute elite of the super middleweight division. Both times he got up and both times he won the fight. That is the mentality of Carl Froch in a single sentence. He does not know what it is like to be finished. He does not know what it is like to quit. And now he is looking at Darren Till, a man who has been stopped multiple times at the highest level of MMA, and asking him to imagine what the Cobra would do to him in a boxing ring. Till went to that event looking for a confrontation. He found one. But Carl Froch did not flinch for a single second. He stood on his record, stood on his legacy, and reminded everyone exactly who he is. A 4-time world champion who has always found a way to win when it mattered most.
I've also seen you get absolutely ironed out by Masvidal. El Sparko, unconscious. Just imagine what I would do to you. Woo. And obviously, me being a 4-time world champ Hall of Famer, been in there with the best of the best. I don't know what it's like to tap out. I don't know what it's like to get knocked out. I've only ever been knocked down on the canvas twice in my career. And both times, I got off the canvas to win.
Eddie Hearn loves the fight. And the reason he loves it is not about Darren Till at all. It is about Carl Froch and what is going on inside that head of his. Eddie Hearn knows Carl Froch deeply, and he is saying this confrontation is sitting in Froch's mind whether he admits it publicly or not. Till has earned a bit of credibility by beating other combat sports crossovers, but Eddie himself is saying Till cannot mix with the best in boxing. And Carl Froch is not just the best. Carl Froch spent his career beating the very best in the world at super middleweight. The fact that Eddie Hearn wants this fight to happen and believes it is genuinely on Carl Froch's mind is probably the most significant thing said in this entire video so far. When the biggest promoter on the planet is saying the Cobra is thinking about it, you listen very carefully.
Till and Froch, I don't like ex-fighters, especially legends, going in and fighting some YouTuber, right? Now, Till is not that, right? Till is a UFC fighter who has taken his craft to boxing, and he's a talented boxer. I mean, I don't think he's going to, even by his own admissions, I don't think he can go in and mix it with the best in the world, but he can fight, you know, I mean, you can see that because he's cruising through the levels of those other guys, the UFC fighters who just turn over like Rockhold or whatever his name was, right? I love the fight. I love the fight because, and you know why I love the fight? Because I know Froch, right? And I know this is really...
Eddie Hearn calling it a 50-50 is the most honest and perhaps most uncomfortable thing said in this entire debate. 10 years is a long time, not just in age, but in the way the body responds to getting hit. Carl Froch has not taken a punch in a decade, and even Eddie admits that life softens you whether you like it or not. Now, to be fair, Carl Froch is not a normal person. The man has been training consistently, and he carries natural physical gifts that do not just disappear. But the reality of not being punched at professional level for 10 years is something that no amount of bag work fully replaces. Till is not stupid. He chose this fight very deliberately. He knows the window, and he thinks it is open just wide enough. But here is the thing. Even at 50%, even with 10 years out of the ring, Carl Froch's boxing brain, his chin, his heart, and his pure competitive instinct put him in a completely different category to Darren Till. A 50-50 on paper does not mean a 50-50 in that ring on fight night.
Years plus since he's boxed. So 10 years ago, he would have smashed Darren Till all over the shop, right? And I think Darren actually, like, for all Darren's madness, he's not an idiot. I think he knows that. But 10 years on, and not having took a punch in 10 years, and definitely gone a bit softer, because that's just life, it all of a sudden becomes, dare I say, a bit of a 50-50.
George Groves, the one man on this planet who has actually felt Carl Froch's power twice inside a professional boxing ring. And even Groves is not entirely dismissing the idea that Froch does it, but he is also saying what many people quietly suspect, that when the moment actually arrives and the contract is on the table and it is real, Carl Froch pulls back. Not because he is scared, but because he genuinely does not need this. He has the money. He has the legacy. He has the respect of every single person in this sport. Why would a man with all of that put it on the line against Darren Till? George Groves knows Carl Froch better than almost anyone, and his read of the situation carries serious weight. The moody lighting and the abs look great on social media, but professional boxing at the age of 48 after 11 years out is a completely different matter. Even Groves knows that. Still though, if Froch actually commits to this and comes in prepared and focused, the smart money is still very firmly on the Cobra.
And not only did I see him box, I had people sparring him, I had sparring partners for him. You know, when he boxed with Mick Hennessy, we sat down and talked a lot when we were over in America and places, and we talked, you know, but he was a big Nas fan, and he was a big fan of my dad. And I always remember one fight he had, Junior Witter boxing in America, and we're coming back. And he was sat in the airport with us for a good 1 or 2 hours talking about boxing and everything like that. So, you know, from that point of view, you know, I've got a lot of respect for.
Right then, let us talk about what is actually at stake here, because this is bigger than just a boxing match between a retired champion and an MMA crossover fighter. This is about legacy, pride, and what happens when two very different worlds collide at the absolute worst possible moment for one of them. Darren Till walked into that event and confronted Carl Froch in person in front of cameras, in front of the public, in front of the entire boxing world. He called him a coward, demanded a fight, and screamed at him to sell out Wembley. That was a massive swing. And Carl Froch walked out the building without saying a single word back in person. Now you can read that two ways. Either Froch is genuinely unbothered by a man he sees as beneath him, or something about that confrontation landed. And based on everything Eddie Hearn said, it sounds very much like the second one. Mentally, there is no comparison. Carl Froch has risen from the canvas twice and won both times. He has fought in front of 80,000 people at Wembley Stadium. He has been to war with Mikkel Kessler twice, survived the early rounds with Andre Ward, and demolished George Groves in the rematch with one of the most iconic knockouts in British boxing history. Darren Till has never experienced anything close to that kind of mental pressure inside a boxing ring. Who wants it more? Right now, today, Darren Till wants it more. He is the one showing up to events, screaming and calling people out. He is the one who engineered the confrontation. But Carl Froch wanting it more on fight night, in those final weeks of camp, in those final rounds when everything hurts and the crowd is going mad, that is a different question entirely. And history tells us that Carl Froch always finds something extra when it truly matters. If this fight happens, and every single person in the boxing world is starting to believe it just might, it will be the biggest event in British combat sports since Froch and Groves 2 at Wembley. T.